let's move on to the next fight, and we're at the main card of the night. We have Luis Pajuelo versus Fernando Padilla. Luis is 8-1. He's 5-0 in his last five. He's coming off that KO victory on the Dana White Contender Series, where I think he was an underdog. So he pulled off underdog win. He's fighting against Fernando Padilla, 15-5, 3-2 in his last five. He's coming off that decision loss to Kyle Nelson on Mexico Fight Night in September, I believe. Looking at the odds for this fight, we have Fernando Padilla at -160, open up at -155. So interesting kind of line movement. Not too much in that regard. Man, I think I'm gonna have to fade Luis here. I mean, he's fresh off the Dana White Contender Series win, making his UFC debut. I just think although Luis has a very similar stylistic matchup like Kyle Nelson did with Padilla, I believe that Luis does not have the same veteran skill set as Kyle Nelson does. Padilla should be able to counter better in this matchup against a less experienced opponent, even on the back foot. And we saw him struggle against Nelson on that back foot. So, Fernando Padilla, he's more of a fast starter who likes to be on that front foot and march forward and throw at volume. He sets a nice pace. His striking defense does need some improvement. I mean, he can get cracked at times, but I think that he's a very durable fighter. So he kind of makes it up for it there. I also think that Padilla, he's able to also counter well. So even if he's on his back foot, I feel like he's going to be able to counter Luis here. The one negative of Padilla is I feel like he's, he doesn't have any takedowns at all. He has to kind of take advantage of scrambles or just grappling exchanges to get it to the ground, but he does have a sub threat on his back. So that's another, kind of ace in his hole, right? Yeah, I think that Luis is just going to try to pressure this guy because that's how he fights as well. He likes to just move forward. And I think that Padilla is going to be able to counter off this back foot better in this fight than he did against Kyle Nelson. So pick here is Padilla via KO. Actually, I'm pretty high on him. I mean, I'm kind of sold on him as a potential money line play. I was on him against Julian Erosa. That was a really nice odds at plus like 200 something. I remember I had that 10 months ago. And I went off him on Kyle Nelson because I feel like that was going to be such a trap, especially, at Mexico Fight Night. So I feel like they're going to give him a pretty good matchup here. And I think Padilla is going to beat the side here. So yeah, give me Padilla in this matchup.